to do that for us. And then with that, one thing we're going to take out of order just a little bit, council members have an opportunity to announce something that they'd like brought up later on. Councilmember Turner at the end of the library wants to make a statement on something he'd like to do. So all the folks that are here with the library, just stick around just a little bit so he can make his announcement, and we'll go from there. So I'm doing it now so I don't forget and ask him to remind me because it's a little out of work. With that said, Mr. Bauer.
Mayor, members of the council, the first item is 15-176, an update on potential relocation of the Foothills Branch Library. Presenting will be Erik Strunk and Bette.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Good morning, Mayor and Council. This is a follow-up presentation to a February 3rd, 2015 Council workshop session that was entitled Potential Relocation of the Foothills Branch Library and Expansion of Library Services. The purpose of this council agenda item today is to seek further clarification, further direction from the council regarding the lengthy public participation, public review process that we undertook in regards to this item. As you may recall, at the February 3rd Public Workshop Council, staff presented a concept to potentially sell the Foothills Branch Library to Midwestern University for $5 million and subsequently transform and relocate library services in that area to available space at the Foothills Recreation and Aquatic Center. As a condition of exploring this concept, the council felt it very important to engage the general public and those council-appointed boards and commissions to solicit opinion and commentary on the proposal. As such, the council directed staff to conduct separate public hearings and a vote with the Library Advisory Board, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission, and the Arts Commission. The council was very clear with this objection and publicly indicated that it first wanted to hear from the general public and these commissions before making an informed decision on the proposal. In response, staff conducted public discussion meetings on February 9th, 11th, 12th, 23rd, 25th, and 26th. The purpose of these meetings, again, was to provide an opportunity to present the concept to each of the three boards and commissions and the general public, answer questions, take public commentary on the proposed concept, and provide an opportunity for the boards, commissions to make a formal recommendation to the City Council. In total, there are about 395 persons that signed in, although a visual calculation told us there were a few more than 395 persons that showed up. In addition to these 6 public meetings, a special website was established to provide the public with meeting dates and information related to the concept. Public input was solicited, comment cards made available at each of these public meetings at our 3 libraries. There was a special website, via email, and we even set up a special telephone hotline system to capture those comments as well. The concept did receive widespread media attention. The comments and input received by the Community Services Department from February 3rd, 26th, right here, all these comments, were posted on the special website dedicated for this topic on March the 5th as a matter of the public record. And again, they've been included in the background materials for you today. To date, the comments we have received have been overwhelmingly in opposition to the potential sale, and there's been little public support for it. After conducting public meetings, each of the 3 boards and commissions previously mentioned voted unanimously not to recommend the sale of the Foothills Branch Library and its subsequent transformation to the Foothills Library and Electronic Center concept. Each of the 3 chairpersons from the respective boards have been invited to attend the meeting today. That would be Mr. John Krisbeck. He's the chairperson of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. We have Karen Warren, Library Advisory Board chairperson. And we have Carol Ladd, who's the Arts Commission chairperson. Mayor and Council, before relinquishing the item to you for your discussion or questions for further discussion, I'd like to publicly thank a few individuals for their participation throughout this process. The first, our potential partners at Midwestern University for their initial offer to purchase the library when that led to the exploration of this concept. On behalf of the city, I would also like to thank the executive management team of the university for their current and future community outreach efforts that benefit our residents, in addition to staying committed to Glendale as a unique home and as a major educational institute that proudly calls Glendale Arizona home. I'd like to thank the members of the Library Advisory Board, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission, and the Arts Commission for conducting the 6 different public meetings to discuss the concept and engaging staff by asking fair, reasonable, and probing questions so that they can make an informed decision recommendation and do so to the council. Special thanks, again, go out to the chairpersons for their excellent stewardship in helping to handle this item. Lastly, I'd like to thank the many residents who attended the public input sessions, made statements, asked questions, expressed their concern, and shared their passion for library services in Glendale. They spoke, and we listened. We definitely listened. They collectively invested hundreds of hours to follow this item and very eloquently shared their observations and concerns with the various boards and commissions and staff. As mentioned, their comments and feedback are a matter of public record and have been provided to you as a part of this agenda item. Again, that's the document here. Mayor and Council, this concludes my formal presentation. As was the case on February 3rd, myself, I, and Mr. Beck, our Chief Librarian, are here to answer any follow-up questions you may have and answer any questions of the public participation process. With that, Mayor, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
What, Council? I don't see any questions, although I would like to make a statement very quickly to you and to our new librarian. I know you guys probably felt that you're getting tired of using your faces for a punch and bag, but doing your job, I appreciate you guys going out and getting in the thick of it, representing the city, at the same time representing our citizens. That, it's a very tough position for both of you, so thank you for what you've done.
Mayor, thank you very much. I too, Mayor, would like to thank Mr. Strunk and your staff. I would like to thank Mr. Strunk and your staff for carrying out really your duties that you've been asked to complete. You've done a fine job in going out and researching and meeting the residents of not only the Cholla District, but the entire city of Glendale. And you guys done a fine job, even at those meetings that were 300 plus people. You sat through there and you didn't get all of the kind responses that you expected, but when this is on the table, you can expect to have some disagreement. So I just want to say, echo the words of our mayor. Thank you very much, Mr. Strunk, you and your staff.
I also want to echo on the same sentiment. It's very difficult when you have an issue that takes this much attention, or sometimes people can say controversial, but at the end of the day, the professionalism that came from our staff, boards and commissions, which I'm really glad they were involved in this, was at a very high level. And I too want to commend not only our staff, but our boards and commissions also. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Erik and Michael too. I know it was difficult. I appreciate your dedication to the city and for the citizens to understand that it would be just as irresponsible to not sell the library as it would be to sell the library without your input. We were simply looking for public input, and I'm very, very pleased to see so many people get involved and make their voices heard. That's what this is supposed to be. So thank you all for your public participation too, and thank you again, Erik and Mike. Thank you.
And I too will join with the chorus of the rest of the council for my appreciation for staff and for our boards and commission members. I also would like to compliment the council on its wisdom of sending this first to 3 boards and commissions and having it come back to us rather than going forward with all 12 meetings. We'd still be conducting those if we chose to do them all at once. Mr. Strunk, I want to appreciate Midwestern University for having come forward in what was definitely a time of need for the city over a year ago when our financial condition was in much dire straits than it seems to be right now. I think that the year's period of time that this has been under investigation and consideration actually has done the cause of those who are in favor of maintaining the library as it is a service, because it's certainly we've had time to have some of the financial pressure relieved from us at the general fund level here in the city, and I think that works to your advantage, and I think that's a good thing. I want to compliment I mean, all of us have received probably well over 100 emails, many phone calls, some hard copy letters as well. And I just want to compliment the people who have sent those in for having remained civil throughout this. And I'd also like to note the high level of proper spelling, grammar, and punctuation. But then you wouldn't expect any less from people who so strongly support our libraries. So, thank you much for that. That's all.
Yeah, Mayor, if I will, I failed to thank the many citizens who wrote to your mayor and council. I will tell you and assure you that I read all of them in whole or in part. The only reason why I read those in part was because when I was halfway through one, there's another one that came in my email, so there were many of them, but I did read most of them, all of them in whole or in part, and there's a few that come in this morning that I haven't gotten to, so thank you so much for you reaching out to us, and I encourage you to do that on all issues, not just this issue, but really thank you for your engagement.
Yeah, I just have a question and some clarification on. The reason why you have green signs, is that because somebody had a bolted green paper, or is it for St. Patrick's Day? Perfect. Well, I love multitasking. I love people taking advantage of, the beautiful American holidays that we have. But I too, I want to just commend all of you out here, because it's one thing, and I know that we've all heard this from our parents, but it's one thing to complain, but it's another thing to stand up and show up to a meeting and make yourself be heard. And even if you don't say a word, your presence speaks volumes. So thank you for being here.
Before I even got on council, when we were having the budget concerns, I was attending these meetings and I saw the passion that the library folks had when we were just talking about cutting back hours, or I guess back then potentially closing the library. There were several meetings on that. We had probably more people than we have today, and for that concern. So it's nice to see that passion for something, for a service that we provide, especially the library. It stands for education. It's nice that we have people. This process that we just currently went through really showed how people are using the library. Again, as mentioned, we all received many emails, phone calls, letters. Most of them well written. It was sad that Midwestern got scorned on some of this, because they have been truly a great partner of ours through many years of building a fabulous campus out there. As Councilman Turner stated, this really came to us over a year ago. And again, it wasn't being hidden from anybody. These things take time. We get offers, or staff will come up with ideas that have to get vetted first. We were in the loop in terms of in each session, in terms of do we keep going forward, doesn't we keep going forward. We said yes. I think unanimously we said to keep going until we got to a point where there was enough information to go public. So again, at the time that we went public, I knew exactly how folks would react to this, just because of the hours. And you didn't disappoint, and truly it does matter. Maybe sometime later we can partner with Midwestern on available land, and maybe add to something and not take away. Just to tip that thought out of the box, and haven't discussed this with anybody. I actually brought it up at a district meeting of mine a few weeks back, but maybe something more to explore, but certainly nothing like back in the format that was presented here back in February. So again, I appreciate all of you, the passion, the letters received, the comments made, and you have been heard. Thank you.
Mr. Bowers, I think that we could ask our Boards Commission chairs to make a brief statement if whether we need to cut a lot of the trouble for a year.
Yes, Mayor.
We ask them to do a job for us, and then I think the very least we should do is allow them to speak.
Mayor Council, John Christick, Parks and Recreation Commission. We were asked to do this project, and the support for not selling the library was more than overwhelming. It was totally unanimous. There wasn't one person that came up and spoke in favor of the sale of this, and the fact that it was not really an enhancement of library services. It was a cutback on library services and also the rec center. And that was the big impact that we had, is that we're taking 9,000 square feet. But anyways, I appreciate the citizen participation and the council's and the mayor's willingness to listen to the people, and thank you for that.
Thank you for your time. Who's next?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be part of the process. Having the people speak loud and clear should be the message that you guys are going to be considering today. And I'm happy to be here to represent the Arts Commission.
Do me a favor, introduce yourself so everybody knows.
I'm Carol Ladd. I'm Chairman of the Arts Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharpe.
Wires, members of council. My name is Karen Aborn. I'm completing my 4th year on the Library Advisory Board and my 2nd year as chairman. I had a couple things I wanted to mention to you. One is I really appreciate your good judgment and wisdom in allowing the boards and commissions to come forward to host the meetings for you. It was an honor. It was a privilege. Also, I am extremely proud of the behavior that I observed among the citizens on a potentially volatile situation. It was very emotional. They presented themselves with restraint and respect, and I think that their voice has been heard. I think you understand how the community feels, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this process.
Thank you for your work. Okay, with that, anyone else need to speak? If not, I'm going to take a wild guess here and figure we probably don't come close to consensus, but I do need to ask for consensus. Is there a consensus to move forward with the library? No? Pretty good guess, huh? With that, this whole issue is gone. So, Mr. Kern.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Some of the takeaways that have come to me from this experience, and a rich experience that has been, are that clearly libraries in our community are important, and they're valued and they're treasured. The stories, the personal recollections that were shared with us in your communications about the difference that having that library makes it with you and your family and your connection to Glendale speaks volumes about why you're here in Glendale and the quality of life that keeps you here and that you want to see improved. Also important for us, all of us, I think, was that this experience got us thinking about libraries of the future. Not just the libraries that we have today, but what libraries will look like in the future and how they can best serve our constituents. And it also brought clear to me again that, in fact, the southern portion of our city, South Glendale, if you wish to call it that, the area of Glendale that is south and west of Grand Avenue from downtown clear out to Westgate and beyond, does not have library service. The closest library facility for them is either outside the city of Glendale or here at Belmonteague Library in the park. And that weighs heavy on my mind, and I know that it does with many, if not all, other members of the council. I had an opportunity over breakfast to have a good conversation with Councilmember Shavira and with Councilmember O'Donnell today. O'Donnell. Big Irish.
I don't get picks today because it's O'Donnell.
People just see me, they say, oh, but it's not followed by my last name.
A good conversation with him over breakfast this morning, and about what we can do for library service in the western area, such that they can enjoy for their families the same things that we enjoy in my district and in the districts farther north, including clear up to Foothills. So it occurs to me that we have underutilized, state-of-the-art, technology-rich facility in West Glendale right now, that perhaps, given the proposal of what was possible to be put into the recreation center up there, the library base with high technology computers, iPads and such, a limited number of only the most highly circulated hardback books, the electronic media of movies and music and all of those sorts of things, plus the new concepts of perhaps 3D printers and classes for the public on how to embrace that technology and utilize it, and also the idea that was raised about having a green screen with videotaping capabilities for the community to take classes and learn about that and to use that. So it occurs to me we have a facility much underutilized, very much with a lot of that hard technology already in it, and that's our media center at Westgate. Channel 11 is housed there and does a terrific job of producing TV programming on our Channel 11 channel that tells citizens all about what's going on in Glendale. But we have quite a bit of, I think, underutilized space in that facility as well. Perhaps as much as 8,000 to 10,000 square feet that could be repurposed, perhaps into a state-of-the-art library there. This proposal to do the library and the activity center with the remodeling that was proposed to bring that up to the state-of-the-art technology-wise was still less than $1 million. Now I realize that we won't have as much technology to do, we may have more labor, but I would like, and I do request that staff take the basics of what they started with, looking at FRAC, and see how they might adapt that proposed library style into the space we have available at the media center, and be able to provide at a very good dollar value library services for the citizens we have in the western area. I'd like them to also pay special attention to grant possibilities that are out there. Most of the, or a lot of the western Glendale area is economically disadvantaged. Large number of students on free or reduced lunch programs and that sort of thing, which I think opens up the grant possibilities to us. Also opportunities for co-sponsorships with the Renaissance or the sports teams or anybody else that might have an interest in working with us on that kind of a project. And also the opportunity perhaps to utilize interns and volunteers to help us out with any staffing needs and to minimize the budget impact of staffing. So my request would be that to have staff come forward to us at some point in the relatively near future with that concept, such that we can begin investigating whether that's a feasible method for us to go to be able to provide library services, state-of-the-art. A magnet library, if you will, much like a magnet school draws students from everywhere for specifically what's offered there, that maybe we can create a magnet library in that facility that we provide a rich library service for those people in that area, but also provide unique library opportunities for people from across the city. Thank you.
Okay, and then Councilmember Speedo wants to make a quick statement, and then those of you that are here for the library, once he's done, then you're welcome. You go ahead and leave, and then we'll get on to the other business.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is a brief statement. I just want to take this time to thank Councilmember Bart Turner for approaching myself and Councilmember O'Donnell, and of course, Councilmember O'Donnell represents the Ocotillo district. Of course, I represent the Yucca district. But it's the lack of libraries in southern Glendale has always been an issue. And I want to thank Councilmember Turner for turning this around in a beautiful way, because you are all here because you're the threat of having something taken away from you, correct? Well, I would like to turn that energy into bringing something that has never been there, and that's in southern Glendale. We don't have libraries, so I would like to have the same energy that's here today to protect what you have, to build something we need. So, thank you, Bert.
Okay, so those of you that are here for just the libraries, if you want to leave, you're welcome to leave now before we start the next business.
Chief Librarian for Glendale Public Libraries. It's a great day for city government. We were instructed at the February 3rd council meeting to go out and reach out to the public, and we've done that. We went through 6 commission meetings, through our website, our feedback. We've heard from hundreds of citizens in Glendale that libraries are important in Glendale.
Were you surprised at the number of people, library patrons who came out and spoke probably in favor, not in favor, I'm sorry, of keeping Foothills and not selling the Foothills Branch Library?
It's wonderful to see a large turnout of citizens that come out and support library advocacy.
Were you impressed by the numbers at all?
I was very happy to see the numbers of people coming out, commenting on it. Also with our phone hotline and also the number of emails too. As Mr. Strunk said, we saw hundreds of people at the commission meetings.
What do you think of the feasibility of Art Turner's suggestions about using that wasted area in the Glendale 11 building as a library, as a partial library complex?
It's interesting to, we're going to investigate it and take a look. A number of the comments that we heard throughout this process were library hours and also Western Branch library services out in the Yucca district and also in the Ocotillo district as well. So.
One last question. I understand that Belmeteague is going through a renovation, which I think it needed for a little bit. Do you have an estimated date of completion?
It should be, we've been told anywhere from 3 weeks to 45 days. If you already go into Belmeteague, you'll see some good positive changes already. The computers are being moved around, carpet is being ordered, painting should be starting soon. So between 3 weeks and 45 days it should be finished, but already positive changes are taking place at Belmeteague.
Any change in the amount of shelving or repurposing of things?
They are doing some mild renovation. They're moving some areas around. You'll notice that there'll be more floor space. We're relocating some bigger furniture, so it'll give more footprint for some displays and new materials as well. So.
Wow, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
That carpet's been there since, I think, 1993, the old carpet, as we refer to it.
Yeah. It's going to be nice. Take a look now. Changes are already taking place.
Wonderful. Thank you.
They'll also get an increased story time room, too. So their story room for youth and literacy programs is going to double as well. So.
Oh, that's good.
It is. It's going to double.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here today.